I'm your host, Davida Shinsky, and you're listening to Live Without Limits Dreams Come True with the Right Mindset. Today's presentation is called What is Urge Surfing? Can it actually help you change unwanted behavior? The man who overcomes his desires is braver than he who overcomes his enemies, said Aristotle. While the modern era prides itself on science and knowledge, the brain continues to remain much of a mystery. We have many theories, often associated with evolution, as to why people behave in certain ways or why people experience strong emotions. Yet it isn't an exact science by any means. And innate urges are part of this and always will be. At the end of the day, we all have urges. Our hunger drives us to eat. The reward center of our brain might further prompt us to buy a product or indulge in meaningless one night stands, whatever the case may be. Our brain fuels our urges and it often rewards us with dopamine and serotonin when we've given in to those urges. Yet, not all urges are good. The Britannica Dictionary refers to urge as a strong need or desire to have or do something. This can include eating, to simmer down an emotion, buying to feel good, or reaching for a cigarette when you feel the need arise. Luckily, there's a new way in town to override these urges, and it's called urge surfing. So, what is urge surfing? Urge surfing is mindfulness technique that allows you to simply observe an urge without actually acting on the impulse. Simply put, it involves a form of meditation where you imagine surfing that wave, which is used as a metaphor for your urge, letting it pass like a wave urges you to feel strong and intense, but they don't usually last. If you ignore them, they will continue on their way. Many experts further believe this is a very effective and efficient technique since it doesn't involve ignoring the urge. Instead of ignoring it, which often causes an urge to become stronger, you recognize and observe the urge, but you don't allow it to control you. And here's the other thing: urges don't typically last longer than 30 minutes. Thus, if you can ride the wave and overcome it, you'll generally be in the clear when half an hour comes and goes. Urge surfing example. Urge surfing can be particularly beneficial for those who are trying to quit a bad habit, such as smoking or eating when you're not hungry. For instance, the urge to reach for a cigarette might arise, even though you've gone days without one. Instead of ruminating on the urge, take note of it and how your body feels. Where do you feel the urge? Be curious about it and notice changes in it. Then sit down and imagine that you're riding a surfboard over a wave. Imagine yourself riding the wave and eventually moving past it into calmer waters. And don't worry if you're unsure how exactly to urge surf. We're going to lay it out below. So, surfing the urge technique. So, you've got an urge. It doesn't particularly matter what it is. This technique applies to a broad range of urges, helping you tackle your demons and control your life. So here's how you do it. Sit in a comfortable position and breathe. Gently tune into your breath. You don't need to control it. Just pay attention to it. Notice how the air feels as it passes through your nasal cavity and fills up your chest and belly. Take note as you breathe out. Acknowledge the thoughts. Don't judge yourself here. Just accept that you are thinking those things, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you have to act on them. Just recognize that they are there. And at the same time, notice where you feel the urge in your body. Does it change as time goes on? What is the sensation that you feel? Visualize the wave. Urge surfing literally means visualizing yourself surfing the urge wave. Urges can wash over us and drown us, causing us to act on them. Yet you can surf the wave and allow it to gently pass you by. This is where you do exactly that. Imagine you're on the surfboard and the wave is beneath you. You're balanced and cruising over the top of it. Eventually, you get to the other side of the wave, continues on, and you're on the other side of it. Bring your attention back to your breath. Finish off your urge surfing session by bringing your attention back to your inhales and exhales. Perform a few deep breaths and come back to the present moment. How do I stop the urge surfing? Use the above technique to ride the urge a few times. Only focus on surfing one urge at a time. It's difficult to break habits and make changes. Thus, make it a little easier on yourself by only overcoming one urge in one moment. Build your foundation or base. This simply means reducing vulnerable parts of your life by doing the basics to stay in good mental and physical shape, such as exercising regularly, eating regular meals, getting enough sleep, and treating any sickness. Know that it gets easier with practice. The first time you use urge surfing, it might feel like a failure. Practice it. Know that it will become that much easier as you perform this technique more and build up those natural connections. Practice self compassion. If it doesn't work, don't beat yourself up. Keep trying and continue working toward your goal. Only when you quit trying is it true failure. Will urge surfing work for me? Try it out and remember, give it a few rounds before you throw in the towel. Additionally, depending on the urge you're trying to kick, you may also benefit from gaining support from a professional therapist. They can offer further techniques to help you become the master of your life. And always remember this: you have control of your life. And also remember this, that often those urges are just habits that you've accumulated over time. And the thing is, how do you get rid of those habits? How do you change those habits? And how do you develop better habits? Once you've done so and develop better habits, then and only then can you look at all the various techniques, because this is just one of the techniques that we're talking about that's relatively new, but it can help you to recognize how to change some of your bad habits.